Hi everybody, we're going to talk today about some of the newer HTML5 tags that are going to be used to divide your page. And to do so, we're going to start by looking at our Fitzgerald Public Schools general page. If you look, this is a really good example of what we're talking about here. You can see the distinctly different sections. You have this top section right up here where you have, obviously we know it's Fitzgerald Public Schools. There's a couple of links for social media. There's the payment thing. Then there's the site navigation right over here where you can go to the different portions of the site, the different pages, the different schools. You can look at the calendars. All the different pages within the website are here linked together. You have the main content of the page, which when you click, it changes based on the page that you go to. And then you have this bottom portion right here with the contact information and then the site map as it goes with all the different pages you can go to. So this is then the bottom, the different footer section here. But you notice that most of this page, regardless of where you go, stays about the same. You have this header, this navigation, and this footer that stay the same, and then you have different things that go on in the middle in the main content section based on where you go. So websites in general have this basic structure, and what we're going to do is we're going to update our skeleton to reflect that structure. So let's go ahead and call up our skeleton file. And this is the version 1. We didn't have any of that in version 1 because you didn't need it. We were just trying to learn a little bit about what HTML does and how to write it. Now we're going to start actually talking about how you make pages people want to look at. So we start with this basic skeleton, HTML body, head, all the different sections are now defined. That really doesn't change. What does change is everything that's inside of the body here. So as we saw, our section right here, we had that top part. That's going to be a header. For us, for right now, we're just going to write the word header inside of H-E-A-D. Okay, perfect. We're just going to write the word header in there so we can see where it goes. Also inside of header, what we're going to do is all this stuff that we have, where we have the assignment name and title, we're going to take that and we're going to put that inside of header. What I did is I hit Control-X to copy it, and I did Control-V then to paste it in. So we want the tags to line up. So our header tags are aligned, and then everything inside of header is indented so we can see it really easily. So the next section, as you think back through, if we just take a quick look, we have that header. Inside a header, this is what Fitzgerald does. The next section would be the navigation, which will be the links to the different pages in your website. For right now, we're going to put nav, just like this. A little too aggressive with the tabs, I'm sorry. And inside of now, just put the word navigation. Inside of here, we have this div tag, and we're going to give this a class of container. And this is going to contain a lot of our main content. So right here in our skeleton, we're going to put a comment, main page content here. And then underneath of our container, we are going to put our footer tag with footer inside of it. So when we preview this in our default viewer, you can see obviously these two things don't look anywhere close to the same yet because we have no CSS. So let's go ahead and start our CSS. As our comment says, our CSS is going to go under here. So this would be a good time, by the way, to save. You should save this file as new skeleton.html. So then our style will go under here. And what we're going to do is we're going to write some style that will make it so you don't have to do this each time. You can just reuse. So our star selector selects everything. For everything, we're going to put our margin padding to both 0 and then our box sizing. We're going to set to border box. Don't worry a whole lot about what border box will do for you right now. Border box is basically what it does is it makes it so the elements don't expand in size. They stay to the size you set them to be. So border box is our sizing. So for our header section, the first thing we're going to do for right now, and we're going to just align our text to the center. So this is a good spot to go ahead and click over and double check, see how it's going. As we refresh, oh, that's right, I saved this as something different. Apologies. Let's go ahead and re-preview this. You see our text is actually aligned to the center now. Let's go ahead with their something similar to the Fitzgerald colors here. So as we go and we give it a background color, we'll say for a background color we're going to go for slate blue. And for our color we're going to go white. And as it goes, that one's probably not the proper color, obviously. If we go slate gray instead of slate blue, SLATE. There we go. If we do that, that might be a little bit closer in the color scheme here. It's a little different, but it'll work for now. Let's go on. For our navigation, what we're going to do is we're just going to set a background color for right now, and we'll just do that to yellow. And it's not going to do anything close to what we want it to do. However, it will be a representation of what we have on the page. So then our container, remember container is a class, so dot container is our class, and we're just going to set a minimum height. And what that's going to do is, regardless of what you have in the body of the document, your main content, it is going to just give it a little bit of size so it's not ridiculously small. We're going to give this like 50 VH. And remember, VH is a newer attribute, a newer way to set size based on the size of the screen that's being viewed on. So we also want to set a width of 50%, or 80%. And then a margin of auto, so it centers on the page. And we'll set, with all of these sections, we're going to set a background color so you can see it. As you design actual pages, you should not necessarily use these background colors. It's just for representation. So you see that that's our little container right there. And then lastly, our footer. What we're going to do is, for footer, we're just going to give this a minimum height as well. We'll say like 15 VH is probably solid. We can go color first, that's fine. We'll just do white in there. And then a background color just so you can see where it's at. We'll say dark gray, see if we can get a little closer to some of those colors. And we really didn't, but that's okay. And that's about where we're at with having some basic CSS for our new HTML5 tags. So as we said before, with these newer HTML tags, the idea of why you would use them is that your pages are always going to be set up the same way. When people go to a web page, you're going to expect to see different things like that. And what these tags allow us to do is they allow us to set our page up in a way that is going to be easily viewable for others when they come there, as well as they allow us to do CSS to affect the entire section as opposed to having to change like we did before, like the font size, the font color, like all these different attributes, even the text align. Having to change these for each different thing inside of here is no-go when you can just do it once for your header section. So in the end, it makes it easier for you. But those are generally some of the uses right there. Please make sure you submit your code in Schoology for this. Additionally, I want you to keep this in your whatchamacallit, in your notepad here, open as new skeleton. So you always have this. For every assignment we use from now till the end of the semester, you will use this file. There are really no more updates that are coming to this. This is going to be it. This will make it a little easier for you so you don't have to redo all of this each time. So go ahead and submit this as I have done it here, and then we'll continue with the next one shortly.